Oh, y'all gonna get this show today. Y'all gonna get this show today. We not letting technical difficulties stop me today. No, sir. They almost vected me. Oh, let's go, baby.
They can't hold a player down, baby.
Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm and Boston Scientific. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! I ain't finna let no technical difficulties hold me down today. We have a banger lined up, a banger. We're going to take a look at why I think this defense is on the verge of absolute domination. I'm also going to pass out some leftovers from the cookout. There's a couple guys we left off there on Monday. I got to give a nice little hefty take-home play to on defense. We're going to get to that. I'm going to revisit the offensive line conversation, and then finally we're going to hit this preview, Cowboys versus Giants. We're going to look at the Cowboys defense against this Giants offense. A whole lot to get to, Cowboys Nation. It is definitely a DX move. Definitely a DX move. I'm so excited for this show, and I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not even going to lie to you about, hey, it's not going to be that long. Nah, strap up. This one might be a long one. This one might be a long one. But, of course, that is all dependent on you. 351-999. You can call into the Pulse of the Nation hotline presented by the Cochran Firm. But we are going to get to so many different things here on today's show as we eventually start to preview the Cowboys defense against the Giants offense. I'm just excited, man. You can see it down there. Cowboys defense is on the verge, man. They're on the verge of breaking out. I think it's coming for a multitude of different reasons, from a player standpoint, defensive coach standpoint. We'll get to this one stat that, I was up last night. Michelle would tell you I just was in my brain wouldn't shut off, as I'm preparing for the show and I'm just researching stuff. And I came away like, oh, snap. If they keep this thing up, the levees are about to break. All right, so look, Bomb Squad, I appreciate y'all.
Bomb Squad!
Appreciate y'all for being here. We're going to jump right into this roundup because at the end of the roundup, we're going to revisit a conversation we had yesterday. I told you I would reach out if I'm hearing something, or I just reach out in general. We might have a conversation about something that has been very popular among Cowboys Nation over the last few days, and it's a good thing. That's one thing I want people to forget. This is a good thing in regards to this offensive line. But let's get to this roundup, man.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey. Yo. Oh, man. Let's get a Taker Bell for Dennis Houston one time, y'all. The Grim Reaper came calling Dennis Houston yesterday. He was waived by the Dallas Cowboys in what is, in my opinion, a surprising move. Let's just be honest. Would I have been surprised 3 weeks ago? No. Am I surprised now? A little bit. It's a little bit. I think Dennis Houston was a product of of circumstantial hype. I mean, I'll tell you what I mean by that. I mean, it's in the word, but I think he got the hype he got due to the circumstances around the team, around the position. So I really don't blame Dennis. He's an undrafted free agent out of a place that's not top 5 or top Power 5 school. No offense to those small schools, right? No offense. But he is what he is. And I'm wondering if because of that situation at the wide receiver position, little things like being available every day and doing the routine things were just being elevated and heightened and magnified. And when you take a step back and you really looked, it wasn't like there were amazing things happening there. And I kept trying to say that on the show, and I was trying to do it in a way to not knock Dennis, because I think Dennis Houston did everything in his strength to earn the trust of the staff, to earn the trust of the quarterback. It's not his fault. I believe he needed more seasoning. I didn't think he was ready for this just quite yet. And so it is what it is. So they'll look to try to get him back on the practice squad. But the reason why I think this is a little bit surprising is because this isn't a guy that was just playing special teams. This isn't a guy that was, running down there on kicks or the 5th or 6th wide receiver. He had 60 snaps. 60 snaps in the first 2 weeks. And he's cut in week 3. You just don't normally see that. You know what I mean? So, and Todd Archer talked about it, a number of different reasons this could have happened. Michael Gallup being ready, potentially calling up Jason Peters this week, more trust in Jalen Tolbert. All of that is fair. But if Dennis had done anything in this 2-week stretch, they would have cut somebody else. So I do think that aspect mattered in waiving Dennis Houston. And I also think Dennis Houston's production or play mattered as well. It wasn't one or the other. So just a very strange situation around him. I personally think they're kind of admitting, we might have jumped the gun on this. All right, let's get to this development versus best 5 conversation. I tweeted this morning, and I think we all can agree on this. I said, lost in the conversation of what to do with Jason Peters and Tyler Smith is that the fact there is a conversation in itself is such a major W. Period. Let's peel this back for a quick second and rewind. When Tyron Smith went down and they decided to go with Tyler Smith at left tackle, there were a number of different scenarios we kept playing out that we wanted to see. Remember that we wanted to see these things play out. And this was before Peters even got brought on here. And the main scenario we wanted to see was Tyler Smith playing well enough out there at left tackle to create a conversation when Tyron Smith gets back. But when they signed Jason Peters, I think that clock sped up from about 12 games or so to 2 or 3. But I think the same scenario is still there. It's just a 2 to 3 game span. And Tyler Smith has done exactly that. He's made us have a conversation. That's a good thing. I don't want that to kind of go and be put on the back burner. He's played well enough there to make us have a legitimate conversation. Now, as I bring you guys back to me here, there was also another caveat in that conversation. And it was about Connor McGovern. Like, how will Connor McGovern play inside? But Connor McGovern got hurt, and we had to roll with Matt Forniak. Excuse me. Yeah, here we go. We had to roll with Matt Forniak, who's the third left guard. Hasn't went all that great. Here go a couple statistics that were alarming to me, but matched what I saw on film. His 12 pressures allowed on the interior leads the entire NFL for all offensive linemen. And when it comes to pressure, I don't want it coming from the interior. His 5 quarterback hits allowed on the interior lead all NFL linemen in the NFL. I don't want quarterback hits coming in my quarterback's face. I don't. And it's not like he's been a major road grader on the ground. Now, obviously, you kind of want him doing that right now more than pass blocking because it hasn't been great. And when you look at true pass sets, true pass sets means they're taking away those quick outs. They're taking away play action that's going the entire opposite way. They're taking away the things where it doesn't matter for a certain position. Just true pass sets. 11 of the 12 pressures come on true pass sets. That's not good. That's not good. So the play at left guard is making things really weird. Which brings me back to the original caveat. If the left guard becomes a liability, do you put Smith where they intended him to play to begin with? Or do you keep him at left tackle for development's sake? You guys know how I feel about the situation. I think your best 5 right now involves Jason Peters, meaning Jason Peters at left tackle, slide in Tyler Smith at left guard. I think that is the best 5. However, like I said on Twitter to Foots, I'm not going to fight you if you want to keep Tyler Smith at left tackle, as long as you have the understanding that left guard may be a faulty leak, or we need to get Connor McGovern back. That aspect of it was discussed. But then there was the other one that's been brought up over the last few days about Jason Peters playing left guard. That's the one to me that would seem to be a more dramatic move. McGovern should be back, in 2 or 3 weeks? If you can't hold on to Forniak for 2 to 3 weeks, which maybe you shouldn't, given what's happening in the pass protection situation with Matt Forniak, then you make a move. And that move, obviously, I say move in Tyler Smith. But because of the buzz around Cowboys Nation, because of the conversation we've had here and I've had with others, I wanted to reach out to somebody down there and say, hey, what's up with the Tyler or with the Lyle Collins, the Jason Peters situation? Is he looked at as a left guard? Can he do some left guard things, or are they talking about it is really what I said? Is there whispers inside about him playing left guard? My one source that I reached out to said he hadn't heard anything about it. Yesterday, I came on here and I said, I can't say this is confirmation about anything because in journalism, there's a rule of thumb you need, or reporting, I should say, you need 2 primary sources to kind of confirm something, right? So I said, the one person I reached out to, he said, haven't heard anything. But it kept buzzing and it kept buzzing. And conversation kept going. And I like the conversation because that means Tyler Smith's playing well. So I said, let me reach out to somebody else. Let me see if somebody else down there is hearing anything. I reach out, and I want to make sure I don't get this wrong. So what's good, man? Any whispers of Jason Peters loading up at left tackle? This is loading up at left tackle. I didn't even bring up left guard. It says, doesn't sound like it would be to left tackle. Oh, all right. We did hear Coach Jerry Jones on the radio talk about his versatility of being right tackle situation. So in my head, I'm like, all right, likely talking about having the potential to be a swing tackle or right tackle. And I'll get to the super chats. I promise y'all. Just let me finish this opening. So I followed up with, well, what about left guard? He said, and I quote, possibility. I told y'all I would come back to you if I heard anything about the possibility. Here I am the next day. I got two different sources. One is saying not hearing anything. The other is saying possibility. Oh boy. Oh boy. This opens a question that I want to bring back to y'all that I'm actually going to poll. Can I put a poll in here? Yes. Let me poll this thing real quick. Let me poll this thing. Cowboys Nation, man, y'all are just great. See, we have legitimate conversations, man. All right, I'm going to poll this thing. Should Jason Peters be left tackle, actually left guard, left tackle, and then I'm going to add the option of swing, right? Because, that's a possibility as well. Should Jason Peters be left tackle, left guard, or swing? My vote is left tackle, obviously. But between these sources and between Jerry Jones coming out about, potential right tackle things, I had to put it up there. So here's the poll. I'll leave it up there for most of the show, and we'll get back to it later. So very, very interesting situation developing right now on the offensive line, and I think it's a good thing. Again, maybe I'm looking at this with the Skittles and rainbows, right? Because yesterday I talked about when we broke down the offense, I'm like, hey, I know we missed opportunities, but this is a good thing because of potential adjustments. I just don't want us to put on the back burner that Tyler Smith giving us reason to have this conversation is a positive. All right, man. Let me get to a couple callers. We got a couple callers up in here. Listen, it's going to be a long one, so I'm cool with getting through these calls. We got a long one. And this is a great time to take the break before we get into the defensive situation. So I'll get to a couple of these callers. Let's start off with my guy, Set It Off, Chris. What's goody, brother?
Good morning, bro. You all right?
Oh, man, I am so... I don't know if you heard the opening when my technology all messed up on me, man. But I said I would not let technical issues stop me from today's show. We got a banger for y'all today, man. So I'm pumped up for it. I'm pumped up. What's up?
That's good, man. No, man. Hey, I'm gonna get in, get out real quick. Yo, man, the possibility issue is just maddening with this football team because I've never seen an organization in my life always want to try to be the smartest daggum man in the room. You waited to the last minute to bring Peters on, right?
Right.
And not knocking what Tyler Smith is doing. He's been good. He's been above average for what we expected for guys who have not taken any snaps at tackle.
Sure.
But let's keep it simple. We holler for Kellen to keep it simple. Why not keep it simple with the offensive line? Plug Peters in, right? Use him for what you need to use him for the period of time you need to use him for, and then go ahead and play this game with McGovern getting back and stuff like that, bro.
Yeah, it's a weird situation, obviously created by Dallas, but in a way also created by Tyler Smith because of the way he's playing, and then also created by Matt Forniak and Connor McGovern because of the injury and Forniak's replacement. Or Forniak replacing him, he's been not just average or below average, he's been pretty poor for the most part. Boy, you must be by an airport. Jeez.
I'm sorry, bro. So, yeah, I mean, for him to be at 12, pressures in 2 games, hey, man, we're skirting disaster. And I think going and playing against a team like the football Wizards, and not this week, but next week, who have a very strong interior line.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't want to bring back rain into that. And so you're turning around, okay, this week you may get past it with the Giants. But then you turn around and play 2 teams that are definitely strong interior-wise. So why would you put a guy who you know is a weak link interior, not go ahead and put your guy who out the gate is a naturally strong guy and a better guard than tackle, and at least get those reps with Peters out there at tackle, and then play the long-term game with McGovern coming back. And I'm not even drinking that Kool-Aid with Tyron Smith. I honestly, I never want to see him play another down in Dallas.
And to be fair to Matt Forniak, I think most of us were excited about the prospects of him playing center, and not left guard.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what I saw in camp and in preseason. But I get why the conversation is being discussed here, because it's mostly about the development of what most of us believe is the future of your left tackle, and that's Tyler Smith. So it's weird because obviously best 5 includes Jason Peters. And I think it includes Jason Peters at the position that Jason Peters has played at a high level for an entirety of his career, which is left tackle. But then that means I hate to use the term stopping because I don't think you're stopping, but you're kind of pausing the momentum of your future left tackle right now. It's kind of a mess, but it's a mess I think you can live with right now because of the positive tape that you see from Tyler.
I mean, you got great you get really good tape from Tyler. You know, you've turned into a new offensive line guy. It used to just be Vach and nobody else, and you've dived into being offensive line guy. But I think it's the truth. It is what it is, brother. But I think, when we're saying stopping the development, I think the one development we kind of throw to the wayside is that off-season peanut butter, which he's already strong in him understanding how to be a pro, which he's going to learn from Tyron Smith as well as Jason Peters. And that's the development part I don't think gets stopped. I think these next 15, 16, 18 games he plays will give him the ability to learn how to be a better pro. And then if you want to make that transition full term and having a 4 or 5 month that he just playing and working on tackle with my man Duke and getting better at that, fine, I'm good with that. But as for right now, because you're in the process of trying to win games, put him at the best position and use Peters for what he is. And then you can look at next year's future window with Lesko and everybody else and all that kind of stuff. He can be, I've heard this said, numerous times, he's going to be a really, really good left tackle this year, but he can get down and boogie and be an all-pro guard. I think he can fight for being one of the top 3 to 5 guards in the league if he does that. Hey, listen, man, as always, man, love talking to you, man. Ain't nobody calling me, texting me, paging me. I hope you got a good chuckle out of that last night.
I did.
When I sent that to you on Twitter, man. So, as always, man, love the show, man. Love the people, man. I'm going to get out your way, man. We'll talk later.
Appreciate you, Chris. If Dallas goes on a bit of a run here, like Set It Off said, if we, 3-1? Yeah. 3-1 after that Washington Commanders game, we might have to bring that back. Ain't nobody calling me, texting me. Oh man, that was fun last year. That run was so fun. Yeah. This is interesting. Let me get to a couple more callers. Just 2 more before we move on to the defense. D. Sean, what's goody?
Good morning. What up, man? Good morning, Scott.
What's up with you?
Nothing much. Me personally, I think a point with me, I think we should put Tyler Smith at guard because I feel like he does have the potential to be an all-pro guard. I'd rather him be in a phone booth and, like, you know, I want to be able to move people. I want to be able to be more physical to the point, because the more physical you are, the more it wears you, tears down on the defense. It's like, it's one of the things we want to keep it simple so we're able to be able to move down the field instead of just having these 3-and-out drives.
Yeah. I mean, a lot more comes into play, obviously, than the one position. But that one position at guard is giving you a ton of trouble right now. And I don't think it's going to get any easier because you got those boys in Washington, you got Aaron Donald, you got Philly's interior. So 3 of the next 4 games is going to be tough. And then Dexter Lawrence is no chopped liver either next week if he's available. I know Leonard Williams will not be, but yeah.
And see, me personally, I think, like I said, I think Jerry does too much. He rushes people back, because I know Peter said he needed a couple weeks, which that's being kind of nice about it, because he needed to, like, you know, get acclimated and, like, get back in shape and everything. I think he just have a tendency of rushing people back before they get, like, you know, before it's time for them to play.
We'll see, man. I trust Britt Brown. I do. I trust Britt Brown, so we'll see how they, you know, if they feel like Peters is ready to go. And Coach said he's probably going to have a presser the day before practice. Coach said they're going to give him and Gallup a full slate of work, and we'll see what happens at the end of the week, man. Appreciate the call.
All right, then. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Deshaun. Good first 2 calls on the Pulse of the Nation hotline presented by the Cochran Firm. My guys, Larry and Brian, over at the firm for the last 15 years. Been fighting for you guys, man. Been fighting for the DFW area community. And they do so on a contingent fee basis, understanding that if you don't win, then there's no financial recovery. They charge no fee. Okay? And they fight for so many different things: wrongful death, fraud, truck, automobile, class action, mass torts, a bunch of different things. So give them a call at 1-800-THE-FIRM or schedule your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com. One more, then we're going to get to this defense, all right? OB Bird, hold tight. I want to get to you after I get to the defense. Where'd you go? There you go, right there. I think this is Mr. I always forget.
What up, Sky?
What's good with you, man? I know it's Buchanan, but I forget it's Mr. something.
Mr. Unpopular Opinion.
There we go. Mr. Unpopular Opinion. What's good?
Okay, I just wanted to say real quick, I'm not gonna try to drag this out. I think it's simple. You know, left tackles, especially if a right-handed quarterback, technically need to be a little bit more technically sound than a left guard. So putting Jason Peters in there with his experience, and there's not a lot of moves he hasn't seen, and putting Tyler Smith at left guard because, you know, he's young, he's athletic, he's strong, and I think the left guard suits his situation better right now versus, you know, trying to have him play out in space with these shifty defensive ends. I think put him in there to manhandle defensive tackles is the best for him, and I feel like it's the best for the quarterback, for Jason Peters and his experience to protect the quarterback's blind side, whether it's Dak or it's
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush. I mean, I think we've seen in the past that when Dak can't trust his left tackle, that he kind of pulls his eyes from downfield to kind of, you know, check his blind side, which makes him miss a lot of throws, makes him go through his progression slower, makes him miss a lot of reads when he can't really trust his left tackle. But when he got faith in his left tackle, he keeps his eyes downfield. He's quicker with the release. He goes through his progressions just a little bit faster when he has experience and technical sound on his left tackle side. So I think putting Jason Peters left tackle and putting Tyler Smith at left guard, I think it upgrades both positions.
I agree.
Maybe not so much in the left tackle, but I think left guard definitely upgrades. And when you have a team that we're trying to get the ball to Zeke, we're trying to get the ball to Pollard, and we want a quarterback to feel a little comfortable in the pocket, I think that's just an obvious move to make.
I agree, bro. Coach Brian. I agree, Buchanan. But see, my thought is, and I'm thinking about this through these people's lenses. I'm imagining people want to keep Tyler there mostly for the development aspect of things, as opposed to the best 5 aspect of things. And y'all let me know, those who are voting for Tyler. Now, I didn't put that in the poll, but for those who want to keep Tyler at left tackle, my guess is it's because you don't want to thwart his development, not because you think he's a better left tackle than Jason Peters right now. I'm guessing. Maybe some people do believe he's better. Maybe, last year, was an old man's fluke and he'll be worse this year. But I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we all can agree that Jason Peters would be a better complete left tackle. And then what we all agreed on, mostly, I shouldn't say all, I should never say all, but most of us agreed on was that Tyler Smith, year one, would be more impactful as a guard. But he's proven he can do some things at left tackle, so that's a good thing, man. But appreciate the call. Mr. Say it again.
Mr. Unpopular Opinion.
Mr. Unpopular Opinion. All right, man.
All right.
All right. Good start to this thing. A lot. Yeah, so let me see here. I should have put a different poll in here. I should have put a different one. But anyway, the poll I put in was, should Peters be a left guard, left tackle, or just a swing? 72% say left tackle, 17% left guard, 11% say swing, and that's 168 votes. Maybe I'll put in a different poll of what to do with Tyler Smith. Maybe that's the real one, right? But just think about it, though. If you're saying he should play left tackle, then 72% of you are saying move Tyler Smith into left guard if we're playing numbers game, right? Right? All right. We got many people on the line here. I'm gonna get to y'all, but I wanna kind of get through the second block of this show, and that's talking about this Cowboys defense. And I'm gonna tee it up. I'm gonna tee it up with our guy Dan Quinn in today's first word, speaking about the defense from week 1 to week 2 and how there's more room to grow.
Guys, because I think you've heard me talk year 1 to year 2, there's an improvement, but I think that's the macro version. The micro version is game 1 to game 2 to improve on some things. And specifically, we wanted to improve upon, our edge setting in the run game. I thought we made strides forward to that. We hope we could make more big plays, and we were able to do that, by having a chance to affect the quarterback some. The even better news is I think we can get a lot better. And I think we're not near as good as we're going to be about taking the ball away and making that come alive. Mm-hmm. I'm pleased with where we're at on a tackling side of things, but there's still another place that we can go to, and I know we'll work our ass off to get there, much like the guys did this week.
Factamundo, man. He said a few things there. He spoke about setting the edge better this week. They did that. One thing I noticed is they were a lot more gap sound pre-snap. I mean, their alignments pre-snap were weird last week, and I think it affected them. This week, different story. They played much faster against the run, and obviously they just went off on the pass game, pass blocking game. But when you watch this defense, man, when you go look at the video that the Cowboys drop, these dudes take it personally when teams score on them. They take it personally, and I love it. And let's not scoff at the fact that they've only given up 2 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks. That's tied for second in the NFL in regards to touchdowns per game. One each. And it's not like they're coming out and scoring on the Dallas Cowboys. Went and looked. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't score until about 3 minutes and some change in the third quarter. The Cincinnati Bengals didn't score till about 3 minutes and some change into the fourth quarter. So they're suffocating opponents early and then clamping up as well late. Now, I understand in that 19-play drive, right? Happens. I understand Tom Brady went down and scored on a longer drive. Happens when you're out there a lot, right? It happens. But if you told me after 2 weeks when you play Tom Brady and Joe Burrow, you're only going to give up 2 touchdowns, you will take that all day and tomorrow. And then when you dive even deeper, and you look at this one stat to me that I don't want to say it blew my mind, but I'm like, if this continues, just get ready for the goddamn levees to break. Get ready. Speeding things up here. After week 1, I kind of looked at it as an anomaly with Tom Brady throwing the ball in 2.19 seconds. In fact, it was an anomaly. Such an anomaly that if he continued to do that throughout this season, it would be the highest and fastest release of his career. By an entire 1/10 of a second. Like, that may not sound like a lot. Oh, that is. We knew that Tom was going to get the ball out fast. Tom looked at that pass rush immediately and said, oh, no, sir. We can't hold the ball today. Not today. But then when we did our prep for Joe Burrow, I said, oh, boy, this pass rush can definitely get you some sacks because Joe Burrow likes to hold the ball. He does. But even Joe Burrow had to speed up his release. He got rid of the ball almost 0.2 of a second faster than his career average. By the way, that 2.46 seconds he got rid of the ball last week was the 6th fastest rate of his career. The pressure to sack percentage on Sunday was the 4th highest of his career. So not only were they getting pressure on Joe Burrow, but they were finishing those pressures. And that got me to thinking, well, if Joe Burrow has to speed up his delivery, if Tom Brady, who gets rid of the ball faster than anybody, has to speed up his delivery, what the hell is Daniel Jones going to do? Now, one thing about this defense that does need to, we need to see an uptick in is the turnovers. I completely understand that. We need to see an uptick in turnovers. Dan Quinn talked about it, and I got a feeling that over the next 3 weeks, this defense is going to turn up with the turnovers. Joe Burrow and Tom Brady are not on that schedule. Daniel Jones turns the ball over more than anybody in his career. Carson Wentz loves to give you the rock. And Matt Stafford currently leads the league in turnovers by a quarterback. So when that clock speeds up, more mistakes are happening. You're more liable to rush some things, tip passes, sack fumbles. A lot of different things are about to come your way when you don't got to play the GOAT who gets rid of the ball faster than anybody in the history of the world, and when you don't got to play a young stud like a Joe Burrow. So get ready, Cowboys Nation. I think the levee is about to break. It's about to break, Cowboys Nation. Let's get back to the phone lines. I want to make sure I get to B Bird before we get to this matchup a little bit later on in the show, because I got to pass out some plates, man. I got some plates to pass out. What's good, B Bird?
Hey, what's up, Sky? How you doing, brother?
Again, I'm doing fantastic this morning, man. I got so excited doing this research last night. I couldn't wait to talk to you about it.
It's one thing, man. I didn't get a chance to catch you live yesterday, but I wanted to just give you a shout out for that film breakdown, man. It just helps out a lot, getting all 22, just getting, what you guys see, and just a breakdown of, questions from play call, play design, too, because I think that's very important. Right. I think Kellen is still learning in that aspect, but it's some things that seems pretty elementary that you pointed out that I'm like, well, how these guys don't know that? It's just like, it's just interesting to see you break that down like that. I want to appreciate you for that, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. That's a lot of hard work, but I love doing
it. So the Cowboys' run game is really tied to the passing game. And I think I've said this before that, the Cowboys want to make you respect their run game so much that you have to put more resources, that means men, down to stop it, which gives them man coverage in the secondary. And if you showed that stat yesterday, what Cooper Kupp was against man coverage, and you see why they like to do that.
Exactly.
So in saying that, most folks on here would say keep Tyler Smith at left tackle for development. But I think that's what the issue is. We're worried about down the future. What we should be worried about right now. What's the best lineup today? And Jason Peters at left tackle and Tyler Smith at left guard gives you the best today. We got to stop worried about the future because when will we ever win if we're trying to kick things down to the future? Tyler Smith has shown that, hey, he has promise out there, but that's good enough, right? And so we put him back where he's strong at, and we could put Jason Peters out there where he's played his whole career mostly, and just let's go for it this year, because if you think about it, coming into the year, the two position groups that we had that we were really worried about was wide receiver and offensive line. If we can solve the offensive line, as wide receiver group can come around, you just never know where we can go, with that.
Yeah, I love how I want to bring it back to you talking about the run game being tied to the passing game. That's what it should be. It should be mirrored to the passing game. I think Kellen got away from that in week 1, where last year at the beginning of the season, he didn't, right? The Cowboys rushed for a lot of yards and rushed for a lot of attempts in those first 6 weeks or after week 1. And I think he went back to that on Sunday, but that begs the question, or not the question, but the thought that we haven't really talked about. Putting Smith at guard is going to improve you in the run game. I think
Absolutely.
I think that's facts. And if you want to run this ball, I truly believe this team needs to run the ball this year more than they've ever have, due to personnel and coaching and whatnot. If you're going to run the rock, I think Tyler just makes you that much better over there. And then when you do want to pass, Jason Peters makes you that much better from a pass blocking standpoint. And I had somebody had said, I don't know if it was on Twitter or in the comments, well, what do you do if Jason Peters pulls, and kind of made a joke about it? Oh, don't get it twisted. Big fella can get on the run. Like, if he has to pull, he can still pull and get a body on a body and blow somebody up. Just go pop on the tape against I want to say it was the Niners last year or something. I can't remember, but go pop on the tape. He can push people out the way for sure. But from a pass blocking standpoint, I think you're more secure on the interior and you're more secure on the edge.
Hey, Scott, I have two things. One thing I go through real quick is flooding the zone with wide receivers. You think that's the answer? Because it looked like that was it. I mean, I think you pointed out a week before and in the 49ers film breakdown that we would only send like 2 guys out against 7. And I think it looked like to me you proved that yesterday, putting 5 out there, 5, real targets out there, really kind of, open things up. Do you think that's the answer to the zone? Because I think we still struggle with that a little bit this year.
We have in week 2 we struggled with it because we just didn't. I don't think we knew where our answers were, right? Like I think Cooper Rush is capable of finding the answers once he goes and sees it, but we didn't have the answer on Sunday from the quarterback position, but from the design we did. I think we absolutely did. Yeah. However, running against dropping back 7 makes sense. The problem is when we were running, last year and having success, a good amount of it came in light boxes. A good amount of it came because you had the numbers advantage and you had Dak Prescott doing a check with me, out of a pass play because, okay, you're worried about Amari Cooper, you're worried about CeeDee Lamb, you're worried about Ced Wilson, so that safety's hanging back or he's trying to play the disguise situation, but he's not up in the box enough, so we're going to run it on you because we got the advantage. If you go and watch, at the very least, the Bengals and Bucks tape, these guys were there really wasn't a crazy numbers advantage on first and second down. They were kind of sugaring the gaps. They were kind of crowded in that box, and then they'd break back, right? Or if it was second and long, they knew that you weren't really going to run the ball because that's not your tendency. What did Devin White say? They ain't going to stick to the run. So once they know you ain't going to stick to the run, they don't give a damn if you got the numbers game. We're just going to drop back. And now you got, Kellen Moore trying to play games and do play action, max protect, and you're sending 2 guys out in a sea of 7 or 8. Same thing happened with the Bengals. They did a lot of disguising their blitzes. They did a lot of disguising their looks. They were crowding the line of scrimmage. Then one guy will pull off, 2 guys will pull off, and now you're in 7-man, 8-man drop back, or it's 3rd and long or 2nd and long, and they're going to pass the rock, and they just drop back 7 in general. Sorry for the long-winded answer, but that's kind of what I noticed over the last 2 weeks.
And my last thing would be, I don't know if you remember in 2007, I think we was playing against Green Bay Packers. It was a Thursday night game on NFL Network. And we had a pretty good year that year, and Green Bay did also. But during that game, Brett Favre got hurt, and Aaron Rodgers came in.
Yeah.
And he played real well and came back. We ended up winning the game, but you can kind of see something in him. And Aaron Rodgers Brett Favre never, after that season, he didn't come back because they saw what Aaron Rodgers can do. They probably saw what he did already in practice. But then when it was actually in the game, they was like, okay, let's go. I brought that all the way up to ask you this. Dalton Schultz is out this week. We got we got a couple of rookies that look promising in preseason.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what these guys can do because I'm of the opinion that we never should have franchise tagged him. I think you are. I think most YouTubers are. I don't think he's anything special. I think I don't think he's a good tight end. I don't think that he's worth the amount of money that we paid him. We could have used those funds elsewhere. So what do you think about that? And I am looking forward to these guys kind of coming in and showing a little bit of promise to whereas next year we may be able to move on from Dalton, and not just Dalton, but the contract that he's going to require. But that's my last question. I want to just hear you expound on it a little bit, and I'll be listening off air, brother.
Appreciate you as always, B-Bird. Fantastic call. Will Dalton Schultz get Wally Pipp this year? I don't think so. I think it's going to be real hard for the tight end position to pull a Dak to Tony Romo type of thing, right? Because I don't think this position is a feature in this offense. Still, I think it's just a part of the offense. So whenever Dalton Schultz gets back, I think Dalton Schultz, while he may not be as athletic as a Peyton Hendershot, I think at this second, you trust him more than a Jake Ferguson. That's the point. Trust. Dalton Schultz knows where to go in these zones. He knows where to sit down. He knows how to read these defenses, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think you just Wally Pipp him and you sit him down. But the other part that you talked about moving forward, oh, absolutely. I thought when they drafted Jake Ferguson in the 4th round, that's what they were trying to do anyway. And that was before we got a chance to see Jake Ferguson at camp, before we got a chance to see him in preseason, before we got a chance to see him in week 1 and 2. I think you can still use Hendershot and Ferguson with Dalton Schultz, though. 12 personnel. Use it. Utilize it. It doesn't always have to be Jake. It can be Peyton Hendershot stretching the seams. It could be 13 and do some cool things out of it. So I just think that you should continue to use all 3 of these guys. I don't think, let's just be real, at this moment, I don't think any of these dudes are these needle movers of game changers right this second. That could change. Hendershot could come out and be Jeremy Shockey for all we know, right? Jake Ferguson could come out and be George Kittle. But right now, there aren't any of those guys, so continue to kind of use all 3 of them in what they do best. That's how I look at it. We got an Eagles fan in the building. You know, that's something about being a Cowboys content creator. We get all the fans. Appreciate that. I don't know how he acted. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, packed him up. Okay, so maybe he was trolling. Damn, man, I was hoping we had to give him the coloring book. Do we need to? You know what I need to do? Hey, Sosa, if you're watching, I gotta holler at Sosa. I need to get for the members. We need to get some more icons or whatever they're called, little emojis. We need to get more emojis. And whenever a troll comes in and they're being super trolly, let's go ahead, give them the coloring book. We got to make sure we give them the edible crayons, though, because if they super trolling, they might eat the crayon. Yeah. Can't give them markers. You know, they might draw on the carpet or something like that. Just go ahead and give them their coloring. There you go, L. Give them their coloring book and let them go off in the corner and do their thing. That's all. He packed his ass up. Hilarious. All right. Let me pass out a couple plates if y'all don't mind, man. If y'all don't mind, let me pass out a couple plates left over from the cookout on Monday that I didn't give a grown folk table seat to. 2 players when it comes to this defense that we have to discuss. And I'm talking about Dorrance Armstrong and Quentin Bohanna. I want to start off with DA. I'm going to talk about both of these guys, though. But Dorrance Armstrong, in a way, had a breakout game of his career. Obviously, a career-high 2 sacks. But it wasn't just the sacks that impressed me about DA. You know, I think ever since Dan Quinn came here, he's been rushing better, standing up. He's been dropping better. Yes, he's been dropped. I had a problem with DA being dropped when Nolan was here because Nolan is Nolan. But he's being dropped. I think he's a more refined pass rusher. And I think I had DA down for about, I think I said 4 to 5 sacks. Maybe he gets more, but he's at 2 at this moment. 1 was off of, I think, a good pass rush. The other one was right here off of that motor that doesn't stop. He got 5 of his 6 sacks last year for the most part, maybe 4 to 6, off of just having a motor. But I thought DA played very well in that Bengals game, obviously with the 2 sacks. But not just that. I just think you see a more confident player in his rushing. And then Quinton Bohanna is not going to be on the stat sheet. He's not going to rack up the big sacks and things like that. But the dirty work that he's doing is better in the first 2 weeks than any of the dirty work that I've seen from our interior. When I say interior, I mean the Woods of the world. This is not a knock on Woods. The Woodses of the world, the rookie Bohannas of the world, the Brent Urbans of the world last week early in the season. I feel like he's settling into that anchor role he was brought here to do. Dan Quinn, the very first thing he said about him, hey man, we're going to put Bohanna right here. Sometimes we'll move him 1 inch over, but he wants him to line up at the nose tackle position. He wants him to line up right over that center and give him trouble. And in the first 2 weeks of the season, Quinton Bohanna has lined up at true nose tackle almost as many times in the first 2 weeks as he did all last year. He had 18 snaps at nose tackle last year. He's got 15 already. So you just see him getting confident in his role. He's pushing the pocket. He's peeking and he's shedding. He's hunkering down. He's hard to move one-on-one. In fact, I don't think I've seen him get moved one-on-one that much. So you need 2 bodies. Problem is, when you need 2 bodies, that frees up the guys behind him. And when he came to this team, he took pride in that. He tweeted about it. He talked about it in his interview. I want to keep my linebackers clean. That's my job. I wear that with a badge of honor. And if you don't like that, we got 2 words for you. I ain't going to do it. But no, seriously, man. Quinton Bohanna and Dorrance Armstrong deserve a hefty take-home plate from the cookout. Those guys were unsung heroes on Sunday. And if they continue to keep elevating their game, this defense is only going to get better. It's only going to get better, man. Oh, I mean, I can't show Professor O, but we'll get to it, man. We'll get to it. Sky, the wrong guy here. I think I found out the backtrack dude. Back up, Terry. I think I found out that he's not a Cowboy fan, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think you're a Cowboy fan. I don't know why I'm giving him this thing here. Sky, you need to admit your low-budget employees that I tried to call you on the phone and you purposefully hung up on me. Chat, do y'all want to tell this young man or woman, I'm not sure who this is, purposefully hung... Sir, the phone lines are open. 351-999-3787. What is your area code? We'll get you in here, man. Nobody hanging up on you. You left. We kept the phone lines open for like an extra 30 minutes waiting for you to get in here, man. We took 4 extra calls that day. How can I possibly hang up on you if I don't know your phone number? You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie. That's whack. That's weird, really. It ain't even whack. It's weird. Come on in. The water's warm. Come on in. Just make sure you bring a tissue if you're going to come on the phone lines and whine a little bit. I'll let you. This is an equal opportunity phone line. Now, if smoke is given back to you, just be able to handle it. That's all. But I don't want to have to give you this because I don't know who you are. Are you a Cowboy fan? Who are you? I don't like to give Cowboy fans the coloring book. But my goodness. Anyway, what's up, Los? Before we break down this Giants defense or this Giants offense, what you got for us today?
Good morning, Sky. Mira, no más quiero decir, great job like always, man. Hey, I think how you utilize your blocking scheme helps you tremendously. And it's a big if, Sky. If Jason Peters is healthy, And if Tyler Smith switches back to left guard, and let's say he keeps playing at a high level, we're set. It helps you tremendously run behind either the right side behind Zach Martin and Steele, or on the left side, Peters and Smith. So who wouldn't want that on the line? And you touched on this yesterday on the volume. Looking ahead, these defensive tackles and defensive ends, not to look too forward, are nothing to sneeze at. So I think I think it leaves no choice to the Cowboys to sooner strengthen your foundation, which is the offensive line, and basically help your quarterback even more, especially knowing that Cooper Rush, great game against the Bengals. But, I mean, let's see how it is. He has to keep producing. He's 2-0. But, I mean, Dak has been proven to win these games, especially division games. Remember, how many games has he won against these Giants, Commanders, and so forth? So let's say what we can do with Cooper. And last thing to close off, as far as this New York team, I do think we have this ability to secure the win by the first half. But I think it's going to be up to Kellen Moore for, like I said, helping Cooper with his play design. And go ahead, Sky.
The secure the win in the first half thing to me just makes my skin crawl. This is the NFL. You don't win the ball game in the first half.
Okay, well, yeah. I'm just being a little bit more overconfident. Sorry, Sky. But
you're fine. That's just my only retort to what you're saying.
Yeah, but I think it's no question too that they're going to try to set the tone with Barkley, and I think Daniel Jones is already wetting the bed and having nightmares about Micah coming his way. So I'm not worried about how we match up defensively against this New York team and this attitude we have inside of the ball. And that's just with Micah, man. Like he's a nightmare, Sky. I mean, he's on pace for record-setting season, and to have him on the Cowboys is a blessing. So let's play at our pace, and let's come out and set our tone in the beginning and make it easier with our receivers and setting the tone. And I just want Kellen to keep on developing forward and don't regress and get cute with the shit he does doing these, I don't know, sweeps or whatever, playing behind the lines already with a suspect offensive line. And that's all I have to say, Scott.
Oh, man. Appreciate you, Los. Hey, King Element, man, I'm definitely getting that drop. Who do you think you are? I am. You're gonna be mad, King. I didn't download the I'm 41 yet, but I got that. I promise you, I wrote it down. I'm gonna get it today. But that is one of my favorite quotes of all time. Who do you think you are? I am. Love it. Oh, come on. There we go. And that's today's fan focused comment of the morning. Indeed, who do you think you are? I am. And of course, the fan focused comment is brought to you by Boston Scientific. Diabetes, heart disease, prostate cancer procedures can contribute to ED, and many men aren't aware of this or of all the treatment options that a board-certified urologist can offer. Understand your options, learn where you can find an ED specialist in your area, and visit edcure.org to get the help and get the facts when other options do not work. Again, that's edcure.org, sponsored by Boston Scientific.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
in front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and reach for the sky. Here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. We'll do it live.
Y'all truly ain't ish, man. L said, Sky ain't never been so happy before in that pick. I can't stand y'all. Man, good show today. Salute to the 500, 600 people we got in here. Good stuff. We are about to hit the third leg of the show. Going to preview this Giants game. Talk about the Cowboys defense against the Giants offense memory. Y'all hilarious. Y'all are hilarious. We're going to preview this Giants game, man. Do it live. If you are new or you just got here, you're missing a fantastic show. We broke down the offensive line situation. We talked about how this defense can start super dominating. Got into certain players I had to give a plate to, you know, doing some good things. Oh, man, if I was a Manscaped, as my guy Vash Lombardi likes to say, this would be the Manscaped joke of the day, and I probably shouldn't be saying that right now, but from Aaron, third leg of the show. I'm a little nervous saying this right now because I don't want the women to get mad. Third leg of the show brought to you by Blue Chew. We good? We survived? We straight? Ladies, y'all not mad? I don't want to disrespect anyone, but a good joke is a good joke. I can't let it go. I just can't let it go. Y'all ready? Let's get into hold tight phone lines. I got you. Phone lines are still open. I see we got 3 in there. I'm gonna get to you, but I want to finish this. And y'all see me wiping my eyes. This is from allergies, man. I can't get in front of my allergies. My nail, you can hear it in my nose. It's just ridiculous right now, Dallas. Y'all pissing me off. But hold tight phone lines. I do want to get to y'all, but we got to talk about this Cowboys defense against this Giants offense. All right. Who you talking about? Ghostface Thriller? Who you talking about, man? Talking about me? I don't think you are, but gotta let me know. All right, look, let's get to this Giants offense real quick. Now you'll see these players' names up here: Saquon Barkley, Andrew Thomas, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard. That's not their entire offense, but these are some of the key players that you're going to face on Sunday. First-year coach Brian DeBall, who I give a ton of credit to for helping Josh Allen turn around his game in Buffalo, he gonna bring a different type of creativity to this Giants offense. Last year it was mostly Jason Garrett. This year it's Brian DeBall. He does a lot more things. He does some pre-snap motion from a pass department, from a run game department, at snap stuff. He's gonna mesh. He's going to do some crossers. He's going to do a lot of different things. In the running game, and make no mistake about it, this offense almost entirely leans on Saquon Barkley. They go as Saquon goes. And just like every year for Saquon Barkley, no matter what team you play, it's really going to be about remaining disciplined, wrapping up, being a short tackler, containing. Because he has a lot of that. When I say Barry Sanders, I mean 2 yards, 3 yards, -2 yards, 68 yards. Right now, he leads the league in rushing, 236 yards, and he's averaging a ridiculous 6.1 yards per carry. But don't fret. A lot of that is due to that week 1 game where he averaged 9 yards per carry and had that 68-yard run. And that's the thing about Saquon. He can hit one, man. He can hit a home run on you early. We've seen it happen to Dallas a few times. Very much like a Tony Pollard in Dallas. He's got 7 rushes for over 10 yards, and he's tied for first in that department with 8 missed tackles as well. He's tied for first. Actually, I'm sorry. He's tied for first for 7 rushes of 10 yards, and he's 5th through 2 weeks in forced missed tackles with 8, which is why I say you got to wrap up and you got to contain. You got to contain. You got to contain. There's a stat of the day for the Giants offense. Saquon Barkley's 236 yards, 43% of them have come on 2 of his 39 carries. 2. 68-yarder and I believe a 33-yarder. So that's what it's going to be about for the Cowboys. Making sure you wrap up and contain Saquon Barkley because he can bust one on you. Right? He can take one to the crib. Pause, because I know how y'all get in there. He could take one to the crib, much like this right here, but he didn't score on this play. Very similar to a run that he had in Dallas about 3 years ago. But when it comes to this passing game, I think it lives off of this run game, kind of much like how the Cowboys want to be, but even more so because their quarterback is Daniel Jones. They're not flush with a lot of weapons. The big free agent signing that they had a few years ago in Kenny Galladay seems to be on the outs. He didn't even play a snap last week. And the week before that, he had 22 or 24 snaps? So he seems to be a guy that they're just ready to get rid of. Sterling Shepard is always a good slot guy. He's always a good versatile guy as well. He's a player, obviously, you got to watch out for. And Kadarius Toney is an explosive, dynamic player, but he hasn't really done much in this season. And I think a lot of that has to do with his quarterback, if you ask me. But nonetheless, they don't got weapons that really scare you, number one. And this is definitely the worst group of weapons the Cowboys will have faced early in the season. Now, as for Daniel Jones himself, most of that success comes out of play action. He's 15 for 18, which is 83%, and he's got 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So they run a lot of play action, well, at least comparing it to the Cowboys. They've ran it about half a dozen times more so far through 2 weeks. So you got to be a bit disciplined on that second level because they love to get your linebackers to bite, whether it be with play action or whether it be with the pre-snap or at snap movement, which they do in the passing game. And I know Daniel Jones can run. Sometimes I think Brian DeBall does a bit too much of that. He had a few design runs last week, but he only averaged 2 yards per carry. So I'm not going to dismiss him running, but he ain't Josh Allen. Let's just be real. And listen, I understand that Daniel has the arm. Like, he can actually make the throws, but I don't think he's going to outthink you. And I think to take the next step from a quarterback standpoint, you do have to be a little bit cerebral, and that's not his game. He tends to lock a little bit on one side of the field, and I don't think he has the weapons to outdo you. Now, if you keep him clean, yeah, he'll complete the rock. He's 7th in the league in completion percentage when you keep him clean. But in that same instance, he's 17th in the league in yards per attempt. So he's really not getting the ball downfield, even when he's kept clean. In fact, he's averaging a career low right now of average depth per target at 6.9 yards. That's a career low. And I don't think he's going to be clean, Cowboys Nation. I don't think he's going to be clean. I think this offensive line is a work in progress. They've given up the fourth most sacks in the first 2 weeks of the season, and he's faced the 3rd most pressures on dropbacks. And they've put a considerable amount of resources to these tackles, right? Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal, both top 10 picks in back-to-back years, or not back-to-back years, in 2 to 3 years. Now, Andrew Thomas, when I was watching the Giants, man, he's fun to watch, man. He's going to be a beast. I think he's a Pro Bowl player. He's going to be a Pro Bowl player this year. He's rounding into form over there. He's a rock. Andrew Thomas is a rock. He'll be the best left tackle the Cowboys will have faced by far to start this season. So I'm interested to see if they put Micah Parsons over there. Not that Dan Quinn or Mike is scared to go over there, but I think the obvious matchup advantage is on Evan Neal, the rookie, who is a big boy. And you could do some things over there on Evan Neal. Football fan in me wants to see Andrew Thomas against Micah, but Cowboy fan in me wants the Cowboys just to take advantage of that offensive line. Right? And then the middle of their offensive line, just a bunch of lunch pail guys. Nothing to write home about. I think the weak link is the Glowinski, I believe, on that right side. I think he's allowed the most pressures on the entire team from the interior. So it could be another game where our interior or you blitz Micah Parsons up that middle. That's a conversation we can have about how to use him this week. But I just think with this suspect offensive line, man, you can do some things. And you would think because of the suspect offensive line and the suspect lines he's had throughout his career, Daniel Jones would want to get rid of the ball quick. It's not the case. It's never been the case his entire career. In fact, he's held on to the ball much longer this year than at any point in time in his career as a quarterback for the Giants. He's holding the ball the 33rd longest in the NFL, over 3 seconds. We just talked about how Tom Brady had to get rid of the ball quick. We talked about how Joe Burrow had to get rid of the ball quick. Tom Brady and Joe Burrow got Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd to throw that rock to. The Giants don't got that. And he damn sure ain't Tom Brady or Joe Burrow. The levees are about to break this week, Cowboys Nation. They are about to break. If I don't know, if I was a betting man, I'm not much of a betting man, but if I was a betting man, I'm taking the over on whatever the prop bets are for the Cowboys defense against this Giants offense. Not enough weapons. Schematically, I think the Cowboys will be all right. Quarterback is not cerebral in that aspect. He will give you opportunities. He holds on to the rock. He don't want to hold on to the rock this week. But if he doesn't, that means he has to get it out quick, which means maybe you'll get some tip balls. Maybe you'll get some incomplete. You will definitely get some incomplete passes. But I think it starts with obviously stopping Saquon Barkley. You do that. I think the Cowboys put together their best defensive performance of the year on Sunday. Massive advantage everywhere, right? Like you could argue week 1 and week 2. All right, I might lean towards the Bucs and the Bengals wide receivers against our corners. Where are you leaning? You're leaning nowhere. I don't even need to put Micah Parsons on the defensive line to give me an edge. So, okay, your offensive line, you're not better than our defensive line. Linebackers, I'll take Micah Parsons against Saquon Barkley. Anthony Barr's coming around. Keep LVE clean. He's going to continue to play more confident. Wide receivers against the secondary? No. I'm not taking that either. So there's no advantage, and there's not even a schematic advantage. All the pre-snap motion things that is supposed to help you, but I don't think they have the weapons or put the fear factor in the defense enough to where the defense is overthinking it. So Cowboys defense should have themselves a day. Get back into the chat. Man. Oh, okay. I got you, Ghostface Thriller. I got you. My bad if I'm sounding congested. I am. I'm very congested. I was hoping y'all wouldn't catch that. I already see. So do I got to give myself a Taker bell for that one? All right, man. So we got through the last block of the show. Let's get back to the phone lines. We got 407 on the horn. 407, what it do?
What's good, guys? It's your boy Damon.
Damon, what's good, man?
What's poppin'? So, man, I just got a couple quick points, man.
Yep.
So one thing that I think is definitely different this year with this defense, man, and you can see it in the first couple games, is we are finally rushing to the correct depth as far as pass rush. I think a lot of times if you watch those Marinelli defenses and things, man, we often found ourselves overextended because we wanted to rush up the field as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And then we allowed the quarterbacks to step up. I think what you're seeing now is with all the twists and the stunts that we're doing, we're pushing the middle of the pocket, but the guys on the outside aren't just running around, in a circle. We're actually pushing the depth, and we are actually pass rushing at the correct depth, which I think is leading to all of these sacks. My second
and you
point
got Micah Parsons.
And we have a Hulk. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But then also too, man, like if there was a time for Cooper Rush to have to play the Giants, I am so glad that it's in September and not December if we're going to be up in New York. I much rather have him in a kind of a controlled temperature environment where we can still run the ball, and if he's got to pass the ball, we don't have to worry about the elements up there in New York. And then my last thing is, man, with this particular offense, with the way that we're with the way that we're doing our pass rush and the way the quarterbacks are going to have to get this thing out, I think it's time to play some gamble ball this week, man. I think the hook zones for the linebackers are going to be extremely important. I think the cornerbacks need to jump any and all routes that they think are going to break short, and then we're going to have to let Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson earn their money over the top this week, man. But I think we jump everything. I think we need to be hyper-aggressive, and I think that this is the week that we really let people know what this defense is about.
I think the first 2 weeks we let them know what it's about. This is the week that defense, the levee just breaks, bro. Because what's going to happen is, if this happens, the defense has a great game. People going to be like, oh, it's the Giants. Nah, don't forget what the defense did to Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. This is just the week that we take advantage of a way lesser opponent, like a dominant defense is supposed to. But I love the thought process of the cornerbacks getting aggressive. Dan Quinn wants these turnovers. You heard him in that press. Well, you didn't hear him, but if you go listen to the press conference, Dan Quinn is itching to get these turnovers. And I would love for this to be the game where Trayvon Diggs is the gambler Trayvon Diggs. Because I don't think they're going to have enough time for a double move or enough time to burn Trayvon Diggs downfield. So I'm with you, man. I would love to see these corners jump some things. And hey, man, maybe if you get burnt, then you go back. But take advantage of this porous offense so you can get out early, and now we can unleash the dogs.
Exactly, man. I want to jump any and everything. If we get burnt a few times, like, I'm okay with that. I don't think the Giants are going to be able to score enough points for it to matter. But I want us jumping any and everything, man. But the linebackers like Anthony Barr and Leighton Vander Esch have got to be on their game this week, man. As long as we are in our run fit correctly and we can shut that run down in the first half, man, it should be feasting time in the second half, boy. That's all I got. Let me get out the way.
Appreciate you, Damon. He said something there at the end that I saw an improvement on last week, and that was the run fits. We talked about at the top of the show. For whatever reason, the run fits were extremely weird. And I think that led to some big runs, specifically on the left end, the left side of the field. Way more sound against the Bengals. Way more. All right, let's get to 732. What it is, what it do?
What's good, Sky? This your boy C-Dot, man.
What's up with
I
you?
just wanted to stop in and give you some flowers, brother. You know what I'm saying? I normally can't catch you live because I'll be working, but I always catch you on the replays. You and Voch. But, man, I just wanted to say, man, about the whole Jason Peters thing. Man, we can't bring him in to play tackle or guard. The problem is if you got him in a tackle and you got Tyler Smith at guard, and injuries happen, you know what I'm saying? They both get hurt. Who's your backup tackle?
So you're saying you can't play both of them at the same time because what if they both get hurt?
Exactly.
Man, that's a hypothetical. I know you're supposed to be prepared for everything, but that's a tough hypothetical because I could say that for a lot of. I could say, what if Cooper Rush gets hurt, or what if Tony Pollard and Zeke get hurt, or what if Noah Brown, and obviously you go to the next thing up, but I don't think you're afraid to play the best players due to injury, if that makes sense.
I get you, and honestly, like, I feel like for certain games that might work. Like, I would rather play Tyler Smith at tackle and Jason Peters at guard for the Eagles game. You know what I'm saying? Just because you got that big boy over there. I forget his name.
Jordan Davis
just got drafted this year.
But if that's you don't want to play musical chairs. You got to figure something out here and roll with it.
No. Yeah, but I'm saying I want Tyler Smith to stay at tackle because he's doing fine. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be the left tackle of the future. Let's be honest. Tyron Smith. I think his time is done.
Sure.
I think his time is done.
But you said for certain games.
It's time to move on.
What I'm saying is I don't think you should do certain games, not with the offensive line. And honestly, I'd rather see Jordan Davis against Tyler Smith. I know Jason Peters is a house, but I mean, he's played one snap at left guard, so you kind of you might have him trying to get acclimated from a mental standpoint. Where I think Tyler, he's been in there enough to where he's going to be confident against power. Plus, just selfishly, I want to see Tyler Smith go up against Jordan Davis. But hey, dog, appreciate the call, man.
Well, I just think Jason Peters would be better at guard in that situation, mainly because he is a house, yes, but also he can help out Tyler Biotis a lot more than Tyler Smith can, because Tyler Smith needs to think for himself. He can't be thinking for somebody else, being a rookie out there, trying to help out with that big boy.
Sure. If you're talking about from a mental standpoint, yeah, I guess he could help out Tyler Biotis, but Tyler's going into his fourth year, y'all? His fourth year? Something like that?
Yeah, Tyler's this is third year, I think.
Third year? Okay, third year. All right. About time he start helping himself out, you know what I mean? But appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, I hear you on that. He is playing better. But yeah, man, I appreciate you taking my call. I just wanted to give you your flowers, you know what I'm saying, calling for the first time, you know what I'm saying, since I had this day off. So I appreciate you, Sky. Holla back, man.
My guy. Yeah. Selfish. I want to see Tyler Smith against Jordan Davis. Sure. Yeah, Jalen Hurts had an amazing game last week or on Monday. Sure. That's the last I would mention about the Eagles. Y'all have no idea. I can't stand them, man. I can't stand them dudes. 803. What it is, what it do?
What's going on, Sky?
What's up with you?
Not much. First, I want to start off appreciating you making my call yesterday, the fan focus call of the day. I had the doctor's appointment for my son, and you shouted us out, so I appreciate that.
Hey, man, sometimes you gotta go on the fly, man, and I felt like it was an important opportunity right there to spread a message and go ahead and pay some bills.
Yeah, but I just wanted to shout you. I had nothing to say really to add to your commentary about the game, but I do want to shout you out with the content that you create. The YouTube channel, two commentators called Authentic and the Beard.
Oh, say again. I heard you say something about Authentic and the Beard. Hello?
And I was asking you if you knew of two other content creators called Authentic and the Beard.
Yes, I actually have had a couple conversations with Authentic. And I dropped in on their, I think they did an NFC East review the other day. I dropped in on their chat, man. I really like their content. Authentic's good. The Beard is good. I even gave him a compliment on Twitter about, I guess he produces some of these videos too, and he does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I fool with them, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was just making see if you're aware because they shout you out all the time. I watch their little recaps and
for real?
Things of that nature. So they shout you and vouch out all the time about your show and the volume. So I just want to make you aware that you got respect from all corners of the football universe.
That's dope.
And that I know you talked about collabing with other content creators. I was going to just suggest that those probably be two guys that I would recommend if you ever do any collaborations with other content creators. Those two should be on your list because they do a great show.
This is why I like talking to y'all. You just gave me an idea. Let me reach out to Authentic because he is a Giants fan, right? And he is a damn good. He's good at what he does. So maybe I'll try to get Authentic in here on Friday. We'll see what's up. Appreciate the call, man.
All right, man. Take care.
You too. Yeah, they do fantastic work. If y'all want to go check that out, Authentic and the Beard on YouTube. They're NFC East fans, Giants, Washington football people, but they review the NFC East from time to time. So check them out. All right, I don't know if bruh's in here. The back it up, Terry. I don't know if he's a cow. I don't know what he is, man. I saw him in another chat and didn't look like a Cowboy fan to me. So I don't know what he is, but phones is locked. Now, how much you want to bet he come back and be like, I tried to get in? Don't be weird, man. Let's get to 214-718, and we're going to close it out with Coach Marv. 214, what it is, what it do?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
What's up with you?
No, I was just thinking about when Dak comes back, maybe they need to start doing a little bit more hurry-up offense because it seems like Dak is a good 2-minute drill type of quarterback, but they don't implement that for him a lot, and I just don't understand why because I think he's a real good hurry-up offense type of quarterback.
If I'm not mistaken, I feel like they attempted some of that hurry-up stuff early in the game last week. You got to stay in front of the sticks, though. They had what, y'all, 10 penalties in week 1? Something like that. So, when you have those pre-snap penalties, that stops all that. And but I agree with you. I do think when he's at the line of scrimmage and he's dictating in 2-minute offense, usually for the most part with the pass wide receiver weapons, we got into some good situations. We have yet to see that so far, but I think the blueprint still should be to kind of slow this game down rather than speed it up as of right now, because I don't think we will have that explosive offense until I see that we have that explosive offense. Maybe it happens when you get Washington and when you get Gallup, when Dak comes back and they get some weeks under their feet, and now we back to that explosive offense. But right now, I think you got to be a little bit careful. You got to do that in spots. I don't know if you want to, because what can happen is you can come out and hurry up and be off the field. You don't want to do that.
Got you. Well, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. That's all you got? All right, man. Appreciate the call. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Dak Prescott does well. This offense has done well historically when they've been in that hurry up or that 4-minute type of offense. But the way the game went in week 1, I don't think you wanted to do that. And then you look at the game plan in week 2, they didn't really do any up-tempo stuff. It was, we're going to slow the game down. We're going to muddy this thing up. We're going to make y'all play how we want to play this week. 718. What up?
Yeah, what's up, Sky? This is a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, man, thanks for calling.
Yeah, so I was just listening to your show. I listen to you and Botch all the time. But I haven't really heard many people talk about the special teams from Cincinnati, even though, it was pretty clutch the whole time.
I feel like I was the only one out here excited about the special teams after that Cincinnati game. I kept trying to bring up Turpin. Those 34 yards that he had I can't explain how crucial they were. They got your points They got your points in the first half, and then it puts you in better position in the second half. You only needed 25 yards to get in field goal range, if that. And then at the end of the game, Brian Anger just absolutely boots one and pins them back deep. Special teams was
he's the reason why they had that 19 play drive, because he was back so far.
Facts.
Yeah, so I was wondering if do you guys, because I know you do offense, defense, do you guys see how much the special teams is giving up every play, or is that something that y'all don't really look into? Oh no, I am a numbers nerd, man. I love numbers, and then I love going back and seeing how they correlate to things. So there are definitely statistics out there that we can see. In fact, after 2020 and 2021, I was looking at the special team numbers, and because I wanted to see the difference with Bones Fossil and with the other special teams guys we had. It's an extreme difference. Bone Fossil turned your special teams unit from I think bottom tier unit to a top 10 unit, top half of the league unit. Dare I say elite one last year with the return game, with pinning guys back. They didn't give up any major returns consistently. So this special teams unit, honestly, we talked about at the beginning of the year where it's going to take a full effort from each unit, right? Special teams, offense, defense. Yeah.
Let's be real right now. They've almost pitched a shutout. The only thing that they've done wrong is give up a decent run to number 11 or whatever his number was for the Bengals. But from a kicking game standpoint, our guy Maha, it's perfect right now, right? From a punting standpoint, Brian Anger is picking up where he left off. From a return standpoint, Turpin is giving you some juice. So this special team unit definitely deserves a plate.
Yeah, I think it's the unsung hero. The past two games, it's the unsung hero for the Cowboys, but they're sneaky good. It's really kind of funny how nobody's really focusing on that. But if you really think about how Turpin got them in range and Anger's basically kicking them all the way into the 10-yard line, that's basically the game right there.
Yes, I know this is maybe overreaction, but I'd argue Brian Anger's punt might have been the second most important play of the game. Yeah,
it was, because they started so far back. It was they were okay, we really got to do all this, and that's why the defense messed up a little bit on that drive with the penalties, but they would have been shut out at the 50. And the Dallas would have got the ball back with a lot of time. Yeah. So, I love the show.
Good call, man. Shout out to the special teams.
Yeah. Peace.
Thanks, man. That, man. Got to call in to give the special teams unit some credit. They absolutely deserve it. And I know my other numbers nerd in here, and I use nerd in a positive manner. Professor O, I know he got all the numbers too, but from my understanding, I think they only gave up one bad return this year. All right, we're going to end the Pulse of the Nation hotlines with our guy, Coach Marv, a.k.a. what y'all call him, Coach Bun B?
What's going on, Sky? How you doing, brother?
What's going on,
Yeah, man, hitting yardage. That's the key. You take the return yards, penalty yards, you add those up, right? And you plus or minus that, you can tell how a special team in the hidden yardage affects you. And you want to win the hidden yardage game. And we win in the hidden yardage game because those 34 yards in returns, pinning them deep on punts. Special teams play a great deal, and especially when we go on the road this week. They've got to be vital. You have to win the special team battle when you go on the road.
Yeah.
That's a vital point of winning on the road. And a lot of people, the reason why the caller and you say that people don't look at special teams because, a lot of some of the intricacies about football people don't look at because Sports Center don't talk about the punts and the punt returns, let's say touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, but I think Fossil uses his.
Yeah, here's the thing, Coach. Here's the thing. When you're a defensive-driven team, special teams needs to be heightened, right? Special teams needs to have a magnifying glass on it because it becomes even more important for your special teams unit to play well because you're a defensive team.
That's right, and I think Fossil uses. See, now he has a punt returner, and he uses. And I was telling some people he's going to use his aggressiveness in punt block to help his returner get better punts to return and keep you rushing because you're scared he's going to block the punt. So now your punt team has to really protect and stay in there to protect because you still aggressively going after the punt, and it's hard for them to get down the coverage. So if you make a bad kick, now even though he's going off the block, you're staying home a little long because you're trying to block. That don't give you time to get down on turf and then he can get those 17, 20 yards return because you're worried about the punt block because you got to secure that first.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing. But I wanted to talk to you about you were telling me about the offensive line. I broke down. I know you broke down the film of the game. Tyler Smith didn't say he had a bad game, but he didn't have as good a game as the first game.
Wasn't as clean.
I would say that. Right. He did have in a couple of plays that he was drive killers, and people might not know that 8-yard loss for Ezekiel Elliott and a couple of pressures there.
Who was that there? Hendrickson got him, man. Hit him with got inside on him.
Yeah. and I think what happened was he didn't know that he was going, and there was a pressure on the quarterback that we had a third down play that didn't give Cooper Rush a chance because he got inside him again, but he didn't understand that he was going to get a little chip on the.
I was about to say, I'm sorry, Coach. I got to put that on Semi, man. Semi literally just launched him into the on the inside.
Right. And he may not supposed to have chipped, and I don't think Tyler Smith thought he was going to chip, and then that would guess when you get a chip you unexpected. Now he launches him inside me because I got a chip and I ain't supposed to get a chip. So, but I think in some other plays, I think it was just his feet movement. He was getting good contact, but he was not sustaining his movement with his feet. That's what guys were sliding off on him a little bit. But I understand this is growing pains. But again, if you were to bring in Peters, moving Tyler Smith back to guard, Peters is a veteran at left tackle. You have to make sure he's playing well. I would love to see, if you're not going to even do it, you still need to get him some plays in there so he can get, so if you need him in, if you're not going to make the total switch and you want to make the switch if it comes to emergency, make the switch, he needs at least a couple of plays to get that motor started. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you're going to do that, Tyler Smith being that guard, you're not hurting his development at tackle. Because the games he's got, he's still going to pick up that development tackle if you want him to be the tackle for the future. But right now, I think you'll be if Peters is playing it up to his level that he played last year, I think that makes you even more formidable on the run on that side. I'm not saying 40-yard played bad, but there is some times where power hurts 40-yard. Not saying he's playing bad, but I think he'll be just a little bit more better with Peters and Tyler Smith on that side. The right side of the line, as my breakdown on them, Steele and Zach Martin are dominating in the run game and in the pass game. They're playing very well.
Yeah.
Except for Steele playing better than Martin. Now, I'm not saying Martin is where he was at.
Let's go.
No, Martin is not. Martin is not. Not saying he's bad. He may not be Martin of old anymore.
Yeah, no, he's my guy Vosh likes to say he's not the demigod anymore, but he's still one of the best offensive interior linemen in the NFL.
Right. So, but that's what. But that's like I said. But it's continuity. This offensive line is still building their continuity. And we are still seeing them getting better as it's going on. But, and Scott, you brought up an interesting point, and I'm glad the caller brought up because I was going to say something about the special teams. Our special teams is going to be vital with a backup quarterback, with any quarterback, of getting us field position and giving us those key plays and dominate. And I don't know if you remember, I go back to, and I hate to go back to the 90s with this, but we won Super Bowls because our special teams dominated in that time period. We talk about the offense, the triplets, and the defense, but our special teams was awesome in those days. We blocked punts, we returned punts, people didn't get kicked off. We had an awesome special teams, and when we dominated on special teams, that took a whole third of the game away from other opponents because we dominated the special teams. And if we could dominate the special teams, that would help all two of our offense and our defense get better field position and be able to be productive.
100%.
Like always, Scott, thank you so much for your work, man. Keep pushing.
Thank you, Coach Marr, for your wisdom. Appreciate you. Man, I got excited there when he brought up my cousin Terrence Steele. Because listen, I mean, he went as far as say is that Steele is playing better than Zach. It's not as far off as you think. I don't know if I'd go there quite yet, but it ain't some crazy thing. Like, Terrence's penalties absolutely, I think, crushed what people think of his first week. And I tried to say, I know this ain't fair, but if you remove the penalties and you just watch him from down in, down out, Terrence Steele was one of the best offensive linemen on your team in that game from down in, down out. Now, much like week one, for whatever reason, his worst rep happened at the end. And in week one, his worst rep happened at the end. And, man, Shaq Barrett hit him with a one outside, and Terrence happened to overstep a little bit, and he was even. Now, we say as a wide receiver, when we even, we leaving. Well, he was even. He was even with Shaq Barrett, and he opened up that door, boy. Ha! Shaq Barrett went inside, boy, had Terrence Steele spinning around. So, he good for a rep to make you go, ah. But Voch calls him now Steady Steele. But that's perfect name to say. He's steady. And boy, do he love to get out in the run. Oh, man, Terrence is so explosive in the run game. He headhunting. He wants to get physical in the run game. But he's also athletic enough in the pass game. His downfall or flaw is kind of speed to power. And one thing that I've learned over the years in trying to understand offensive line is kind of giving ground slowly. He's doing better giving ground slowly in that aspect where years past it was he's getting pushed back. But man, Terrence Steele he's been better than your left tackle, but the left tackle is the rookie. He's the name a lot of people are excited about. But again, to kind of bring it all the way back to the top of the show, I am excited about the prospects. I look over at Tyler Smith and I say, man, there's definitely something there. Big fella at left tackle. But now your watch has ended. Slide you back into left guard. Let's get this push in the run game. Let's get fortified on the interior so our quarterbacks can step up, right? Let's get fortified on the interior, and let's make these left or right defensive ends have to work even more to get around that house that is Jason Peters if he's up for it. With all of that said, it's just something I don't think that's going to happen. Something, listening to Jerry talking about versatility, reaching out to my guy that says doesn't sound like they're gearing him up to play left tackle. Talking about doctorates degrees, right? Or Harvard degrees. That's what Jerry said for your left tackle. And we're just going to have to live with the consequences. We are living with them right now, right? Your quarterback's out. it just sounds and it feels like they're going to elect to keep him there. So then the question becomes, what happens at left guard? What happens at left guard? Man, I don't know about y'all, but today's show was a goddamn banger. Maybe it was just me. I had so much fun putting it together, but if you enjoyed today's show, do me a favor. Sure, you can hit the like button, but drop some bomb squads in the chat. Drop fire emojis. Just drop how you feel about today's show. I think it was great, man. Y'all were great. We had some Cowboys news with Dennis Houston. We got back to the offensive line content. We even got a chance through all of this stuff, reviewing the defense. We even still hit on the first look of the New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys, their offense, our defense, and why I think the levee will break this weekend. I do. Tomorrow, we will be looking at the Cowboys offense against that Giants defense. Now, I will say this to kind of go back a little bit. He mentioned, Terrence Steele. I do think he'll get a tough ask this weekend or Monday. Next Monday, if they put, make sure I say his name right, Ojulari. I always mess that up. Ojulari over there. He's a good pass rusher, But for the most part, man, I can't wait to break this down. I think we're going to be good enough so far. Just kind of a 2020. I should say 2020. From a macro standpoint, that defense looks pretty good. But I'm about to study it today a little bit more, and we'll break it down tomorrow, man. We'll break it down tomorrow. Oh, T-Mac, you got to run this thing back, man. You got to run this thing back. One more time. Let's get a Taker Bell for Dennis Houston. For Dennis Houston. Hey, man, back up Terry. Where you at?
What?
0 for 2 back up Terry. Damn, come on through. Couple more before we get up out of here. Tuck and Rose says he was a tackle for 14 years. Past 5, he's been swing guard. Who are we talking about? Who are you talking about, Tuck and Roll? Peter Rizzo, great show. Thank you, Peter Rizzo. I see the fire emojis. I see the bombs drop, man. I appreciate that. I have fun with this one. Michael H, I say let Smith get his flex experience. Will pay off years to come. That's interesting. Nobody's talking about having experience doing both. They're more so one or the other. Oh, 100%. Zach is still one of the top guards in this league. There's no doubt about it. Lemitra said the penalty situation on offense have not been that bad. What, week 2? Week 1, Lemitra, there were 10 penalties, 0 on defense. You do the math. Will says the best thing about putting Peters at left tackle and Tyler at left guard is the teaching Peters can give Tyler on the field. That was one of the things we talked about immediately, right, Will, was that not only is he going to be able to school him off the field, but when they're on the field together from a tackle guard standpoint, not Peters guard left tackle standpoint, I think there's a smoother communication that they can have, in my opinion. So, yeah. Thank you, Captain America. Thank you, David J. Appreciate that. Rashawn said, congratulations on 100,000 subs on Facebook. 100,000. The day we can get 100,000 here, I don't know what I'm going to do, man, but we're going to have a party. We're going to just do a kickback show if we get 100,000 on here. McGovern's better on the right, says Ghostface Thriller. He has been. He hasn't been bad at left guard in preseason and camp, but I really wanted to see him get a couple games at left guard so we can get a better evaluation. Hey, Rod. How's my fantasy team doing? Derek, it's weird because it's not a week-to-week thing. They tally up all the points, I believe. So I'm still figuring that out. But looking at it, I think I was in third place, which is the money place on last week after the game's all finished. So I'm doing all right. It's my pick'ems where I'm missing by 1. Appreciate you. Marcus Skies too fly for the clouds and too down for the green grass. I'm never too down for the I'm saying. Boy, dude, so bad. Yeah, only a handful of y'all know who I am off air, but I'm still me, but I can't be all of me. Got a job to do. Chris said Jason Peters. Oh, so Tuck and Roll was talking about Jason Peters being a swing guard for the last 5 years. I know he played some right guard and was horrific at it for the Eagles 1 year. I mean, we can get an actual. Man, we can look that up. That ain't hard to do, but I did that already. But yeah, Jason Peters did some guard things in 1 year, but you can't say the last 5 years when last year he played left tackle for 15 games. So, I mean, that aspect isn't true. But let's kind of get some exact numbers on Jason Peters. Yeah, you'd be incorrect. The last 5 years, 847 snaps at left tackle, 405 in 2020. That's when they tried to play him a little bit at left guard, but he also was injured, or right guard. 2019, 865 snaps at left tackle, 0 at guard. 2018, 855 snaps at left tackle, 0 at guard. 2017, he got injured. All his snaps were at left tackle, 0 at guard. So my only thing is, just come on. I'm cool with all the opinions. Just got to, I guess, fact check. Because sometimes people, even me, I'll look into the chat and be like, oh, so-and-so said, and now go look to make sure, and then I'll use that. Ask Professor O. Ask everybody that's in here every day. Y'all give me ideas. I go look. When I run this thing back, I miss comments, and I come back and I read, and I'm like, oh, let me go check this out, or let me see what they're talking about. So, let's be thorough. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you, man. Stop the cap. Hey, make sure y'all check me out later. Me and Vach will be back on this YouTube thing on the volume 306-ish. Shout out to the 3-ish Mafia. Make sure y'all tune in. And again, hit that like button on the way out. Later tonight, Mauricio will be back on. He's been doing a fantastic job. A to Z Sports Primetime. Hit up A2ZSportsDallas.com. If you happen to blank out and miss that when I said it, just look down there at the DFW turf ticker. See it right there. A2ZSportsDallas.com for all your Cowboys coverage. DFW turf ticker, the #1 artificial turf in the DFW area. L has the craziest Sky old jokes. Can you tell us what it was like when the atomic bomb dropped? Now L.
Let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not
wrong, no.
But you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
With that said, we out of here. I'll see y'all later. Love y'all to death, man. Ridiculous. Get out of here, man. Love y'all. Peace.